Hey everybody, thank you for joining. Welcome to Ask Elle. I appreciate you for joining. Thank you guys for coming on. Don't forget to tap the screen when you come on. Your hearts count. Our topic tonight is the last 12 through 24 spiritual laws. We're going to talk about how those laws apply and how you can add them to your life. One moment. Hey Just Jen, thanks for joining. Hello. Thank you guys for joining. Tap the screen, send hearts, get your daily heart meet. Thank you guys for joining. Our topic tonight is spiritual laws. We're going to talk about the last 12 spiritual laws. The next 12 spiritual laws. So tonight we're going to talk about the law of abundance, the law of clarity, the law of forgiveness, the law of faith, the law of patience, the law of surrender, the law of healing, and the law of purpose, and the law of love. Again, tonight we are going to talk about the law of abundance, the law of clarity, the law of gratitude, the law of forgiveness, the law of faith, the law of patience, the law of surrender, the law of truth, the law of healing, the law of unity, the law of purpose, and the law of love. So, hey Byron, how are you? Thanks for joining. Britannica, thanks for joining. Feel free to tap the screen. So, we are talking about spiritual laws tonight. So, the first law that we're going to talk about is the law of abundance. Abundance is everywhere, waiting for you to be noticed. So, with the law of abundance, when we focus on gratitude and possibility, we'll begin to attract more than enough of everything in all the areas of our lives. So, the law of abundance. So, I try to practice the law of abundance regularly. I think one of the ways we can practice the law of abundance is just to be happy for other people. When they have good news, celebrate with them instead of saying, why couldn't that happen to me? Or, you know, who do they think they are? But just knowing that whatever somebody else gets, there is more than enough for us to also have good things and great things in life. The law of abundance is more about being grateful for others, and not having a scarcity mindset, but seeing the glass as half full instead of half empty. So I always try to look at life as being a half full glass rather than half empty. So the law of abundance speaks to knowing that there is more than enough for everybody. There is not lack. Even when things look slim, just knowing that there is abundance and enough for all of us to enjoy life and all of the good things in life. So the way that I practice the law of abundance personally, I always look at the glass as being half full, and I always want other people to win. So never looking at it half empty. Hey, Terrence, thanks for jumping on. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for jumping
That's,
in. So we're
that's
talking
good.
about spiritual laws tonight. You have any feedback that you want to add on spiritual laws?
Spiritual laws.
Yeah. So right now I'm talking about the law of abundance, how everything is abundant. There is not scarcity, and only when we believe that there is lack is there really lack. We have to have an open mindset to know that everything around us is abundant. And I was saying some of the ways of practicing that is knowing that instead of saying, why didn't that happen to me? Or how did they end up with that? Knowing that there is enough for all of us to be successful, having a glass half full mindset versus a glass half empty mindset.
Well, I agree with pretty much everything you just said there. Like, I just think, like, once you eliminate that what if, why not, this and that from your vocabulary and from your mindset, like, it sets you up for greatness. Because if you constantly think about things you do not have, constantly worry about what the next person has, it sets you back. Because when you eventually do try to get get that thing, you're not thinking about it for yourself. You're thinking of it because you saw somebody else have it or someone else get it. So it takes away from the abundance.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing about the law of abundance is when we look around and we just like I was trying to think of an example of where I was in a situation where it looked like, I looked at something and I was like, okay, I could see myself here, or yeah, I deserve that. And yeah, there's enough of that for me too. When somebody has something. I remember one day my sister and I were taking a road trip and I saw this house and I was like, I could have that. Like that, it's enough of these for me to get one of those. I mean, so I think that's just a small example of the law of abundance, but just knowing that anything that we believe we can accomplish, we can have or we can do, there is enough and we don't have to take from anybody else to get it. So having a mindset of richness and knowing that there are more than enough resources for all of us to have good things in life and we don't have to take from others to get it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like there is no right or wrong way to get. Well, there is a wrong ways to get ahead, but just know if you take the wrong route, it's karma will come back, or it won't be the way you pictured it's gonna be because you didn't go through the right measures to get to what you got to. You cheated, and in life, you're not really supposed to cheat. You're supposed to work everything because life. I look at life as like a video game or a journey. You have to earn and make your way up. You can't if you cheat, you're not learning basic fundamentals, which will come back to you later on.
And I think you're right about that. If we don't learn the fundamentals of it, then we will have to repeat the lesson. And that's why I thought that these laws were important because our world is governed by spiritual laws and things that we don't see. And if we learn those laws and we know that they are being applied, whether we believe in them or not, they're principles that, it's like I always say, like Murphy's Law, what goes up must come down. If we don't know that that is at work, um, we could be setting ourselves back and not even knowing it. Like, having a mindset of scarcity and being envious of what other people have or being jealous or feeling like we can't obtain it, it will keep us from abundance. And so we have to know that the law of abundance says that there is more than enough for everybody. And we just have to know that. We have to look for it when we look around instead of saying, um, there's not enough for me. No, there's enough for all of us. Whatever our purpose or our path is and what we want out of life, we can have it. Now, if we want something because somebody else has it and it's really not what we authentically want, it's just, oh, I want to be like this person or I want to do it like that. Then no, that may not come through or come to fruition for us. But if we are genuinely living in our authentic path, those things that are for us will come out for us and they will be for us. So we have to know that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree because you see it all the time. A lot of people are not really true with themselves. Whether you be in person or online, they put a fake face on because they want to impress other people. They want to seem like something they're not, and they really don't have to do that. And when they do that, they're not. It comes back in ways that it start out small, but they make their way big. Like you'll see that it starts with the people they hang around with. It starts with the things that happen on around in their personal life, their work life. It happens in a whole bunch of situations. It takes some years to realize that since they weren't authentic, since they didn't take the right paths, it has consequences. Which is why I agree with you saying you have to stay authentic to yourself because the real key to being successful and getting everything you want the right way is just by being yourself and authentic.
Yep. Mm, true. Yeah. Absolutely. So I will give you guys a public service announcement. My daughter's going to come in here in about 5 minutes to eat dinner. I decided I was setting up in my living room and not in my office, so you'll hear me talking to her, but just give me a minute to get her situated. We're good. Um, the next law is the law of clarity. So the law of clarity says clarity creates direction and power. The more specific you are about what you want, the easier it becomes for life to align with your focus. So the law of clarity. Anything you want to add on that one, Terrence? Any thoughts on that?
The law of clarity.
Once
Yeah, I agree. I
clear.
agree with. I agree with that a lot. Because once you have a vision, you basically you're gonna need resources, of course. But once you have the vision set out for you, you'll start like trying to figure out resources and things that can help you align with the vision. So I think it's good to like have a clear, coherent plan about what you want to do with anything. That way, there's going to be obstacles, of course, but at least you have a plan, and you need to find the basic ways to achieve that plan. And once it's clear, if it's clear, it's easier and better.
And can you share maybe something that you wanted that you were really clear about and you saw it just come to fruition because you were like, this is what I'm going to do. And it just seems seamless because I think the law of clarity also adds a level of seamlessness because once you're very clear and you know that this is what I want and you're driving in that direction, it's like saying I'm going to go to the store, right? I'm going to Kroger. If I say I'm going to Kroger, I know the route to Kroger. I'm not going to, I may make a pit stop on the way, but I know I'm going to Kroger. That's where I'm going to be. So can you share about maybe something in your life that you did where the law of clarity applied and you were very clear about, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm going to do, and you took all the steps and got there and accomplished it.
Well, I'll say when it came to school, because school is especially important, very important. Like there was a time where I was set back a little bit with certain things between my sophomore year and my senior year. So when I was really supposed to be in junior year, I was in my senior year. I was in my sophomore year again, which I had no idea about until I talked to my counselors and stuff. I came up with a plan and I said I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I got the resources I needed and then I did the work. I took all the steps needed, and then the very next year I was back in my right grade. It was hard work too. I had to really use all the resources they gave me, and they said it was a half and half situation. It could have happened, it can't happen, and I eventually got to my right grade. It took a lot of work though. It took a year and a half.
And you focused, right? So the law of
Yeah,
clarity, you were clear. Look, I'm not going to let another year pass. I am not
yeah,
going to stay here. Next year, this is what I will be doing. And you took all the steps that were needed to get there. And you even probably took some detours along the way and found some shortcuts, but you got there.
yeah. Of course.
Yeah, yeah. I did the same thing. I was on the 13-year plan, Terrence. I took the 13-year plan. So you're not the only one. Great things come out of the 13-year plan. Let me reassure you. The 13-year plan works. So the 13-year plan works. The 15-year plan works. Whatever plan you decide to use, as long as you get there, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next one is the law of gratitude. Gratitude multiplies whatever it touches. By appreciating even the small things, you open the door to more joy, opportunity, and blessings. So I'll read that one more time. Gratitude multiplies whatever it touches. Be appreciating even the small things. By appreciating even the small things, you'll open the doors to more joy, opportunities, and blessings. So I believe in practicing the law of gratitude and just being grateful for just about, I, I think I'm pretty much grateful for about everything in my life, except for when people piss me off, then I'm not so grateful. But outside of that, I'm very grateful. I'm grateful for opportunities. I'm grateful for disappointments, even because sometimes in disappointments, it teaches us lessons on what not to do again, or or maybe we miss something or detoured from something. So I'll share a story. My daughter, when she graduated, my oldest daughter, when she graduated from college, her friends came and I promised to take them to dinner. And so we all went to dinner. And when we were leaving, I paid for us to exit the building where we were leaving from. And so I paid downstairs. We got to the gate to exit, and the gate wouldn't open. And I was fussing and fussing and fussing. Gate won't open, gate won't open. And it started raining. So I was like, okay, now we really got a problem. So finally the gate opens. Well, we get on the freeway, and I'm like, okay, well, at least we're on the freeway and we're going to get home. Well, if we had left a minute earlier, we would have been in a really bad accident because right in front of us, as we were coming up the freeway, this truck slid from the far right lane all the way over to the left lane where we were. And had we been there a minute earlier, just a second, that truck would have slammed into us. And I don't know what the repercussions or what the accident would have been like. So, um, thank God that gate didn't open when it was supposed to, because
Yeah, that gate saved you.
what the outcome of that would have been. And so that is one of the other things I've learned is not to, when I'm in a rush and things kind of slow down by accident, I've learned that a lot of the times it's on purpose. It's not an accident. So
Hmm.
yeah, yep, yep.
Yeah,
So
I agree. Everything, I think that goes along with everything. Like everything happens for a reason. Whether it
mhm,
be in gratitude, whether it be in saving somebody, everything happens for a reason. In order to help us learn a lesson, like you just said, you learn to be more. I'm gonna say, yeah, grateful for sometimes even grateful for things that might set you back a little bit, like in the short term, but in the long term, it's actually a blessing.
yep, yep. It is. It really is. The next one is the law of forgiveness. Forgiveness frees you from the weight of the past. When you release others or yourself, you create space for healing and growth. One more time. Forgiveness frees you from the weight of the past. When you release others or yourself, you create space for healing or growth. Anything you want to share about forgiveness, and have you learned anything about forgiveness? I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I actually did a podcast on it. How do you forgive people who disappoint you or let you down? What is your process? What does it look like? And when and if you do, are you doing it for them or are you doing it for you?
Very good questions. I like to start first by saying the way I forgive people is it depends. First of all, it depends on what they did. Depending on the severity of it, how I forgive them will be different. But overall, with all most cases, I see it like first of all, I look at the relationship I have with the person, family, friends, girlfriend. I look at the relationship like that, and what the bad things where I look at how they shape my character because as bad as some things happen, it also opens up your mind to certain realities and things you probably didn't see before that certain type of stuff started to happen. So I look at what I learned from certain situations. I'm like, yes, it wasn't bad. It was bad, but I also learned something. So it makes it easier for me to forgive a person because they open my eyes to certain things, make me realize that life is not all fun and games. Not everybody is perfect, and even bad people will teach you lessons. Everyone has to come across bad people in order to learn. So once I evaluate all that, I'm able to forgive a person. It might take time, but I'm able to forgive them.
Okay. And when you forgive them, you say once you evaluate it, when you forgive them, do you continue with the relationship? How do you move forward? And I know some of that is subjective, it depends on who it is. Um, how do you usually handle that?
Okay, so with friends, if it was something severe and like I gotta cut them off, have a conversation. I forget them, but gotta let them go because it was severe. Same thing with relationships. If it's severe, like severe to the point like there's no reason I should be staying in that, I forgive and let you go. If it's small, we have a conversation about it and we learn from each other.
How many
Family,
conversations do you have? Do you have one? Do you have three? Do you have
as
two?
long as it takes for all both of us to have an understanding
Okay.
and
I
both
like
of us
that.
like be cool and forgive each other.
I
Yeah,
like that. As long as it takes for you to get it right. What if the
yeah.
other person is defensive when you have a conversation? Do you continue to attempt or do you take their defensiveness as their unwillingness to work through it?
Defensiveness. Well, that's actually a good question because this is a thing I do now where their defensiveness I pinpoint where the defense is coming from because sometimes it comes from a very specific thing in what you're pointing out. So go for that. Like I talk about the defensive thing that they're choosing to be defensive about, talk about that. See if it like calms the situation down. If it doesn't, I'll still forgive, but it'll be harder for that person to hear my side when you still gotta forgive. But it's gonna be hard for that person to understand your point of view, but at least I'm clear about me just releasing all that. You got it. I let it out. You're still gonna hold it in and not acknowledge anything, but at least I, let it out. And family, I'll say family is way harder because it's family. So like I said, the big like it has to be pretty big with family for me to cut off and stuff like that. But of course I'm gonna forgive and I'll limit talk. It has to be severe with family, and that's what I'm saying. Like the smaller it is, the more easier it is to talk about certain things too, because it's family. Family is like you really put a lot of trust in family. You grow up with family, so yeah, I'll say family too, because a lot of them get defensive too. We can all relate to a lot of family get defensive over certain things. You gotta have a little more patience with them, I would say, on certain situations because a lot of them are from different time periods. They grew up differently. They had different mindsets. You gotta understand some of them at the same time. Don't let that consume you to the point where you let them walk over you though, and make them think they're right all the time. That's what I tell myself. But yeah, pretty much the same thing with family. Just gotta have different expectations because they're family.
Yeah, I agree. You're pretty wise, Mr. Terrence. Pretty wise young man there. I appreciate that. You got
Thank
some
you. Thank you.
insight there. Very wise. So the next one is the law of faith. So the law of faith means trusting what you cannot yet see. It is the bridge between your vision and reality, keeping you steady when doubt appears. Um, I've learned to. So I have learned to walk in faith. I've had through life learned to walk in faith. It's a part of who I am, where I am, and I'll just give you guys an example of why faith or how faith has worked for me. Um, the first half of my life, so 20s and 30s, I was married, self-employed, had my own business. Um, I went from having my own business to trying to figure out how I was going to reinvent myself, getting a job, had a massive decrease in income. And I had children, I had gone through a divorce, I had to figure out how I was going to maneuver through life. And the only thing that I had at that point was my faith. I didn't come from a family that had a ton of resources. I didn't have a whole lot of help. It was my faith that carried me through. And it's funny, I was thinking about it just recently. And I was like, I didn't, I mean, I worked, but I didn't work where I was like working three or four jobs. And I was like, I still provided my children with a decent quality of life, right? That took a lot of faith. How I did it, I don't know. There were days I was telling my neighbor this morning, I remember waking up at like 3 a.m. in the morning, like holding my chest, like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to take care of my family? But I just had to have faith and trust that it was going to happen. And so now I don't fret about stuff. I just know that it's going to work out because I've seen it work out. And so if I can tell anybody else in life, just have faith. When things happen unexpectedly, if you lose a job and you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to take care of myself? Have faith. If you have faith, the path will open up for you. Doors will open up for you. People will show up for you without you asking. And sometimes you will have to ask. But when you truly trust and you know that God, the universe, whoever your source is, um, cares for you, everything always works out. It just does. I can't tell you how it does or why it does. It just does. Um, I, that's all I can say. And I will give you guys a story for now. I currently work contract work. My contract was up in July. I decided in July, I nothing had opened up yet, no job offers yet. I said when my contract ended, I was going to take some time off to grieve because, for those who don't know, I've lost a number of family members over the last year. So I took a month off. I was like, I'm going to take this month off. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, what are you going to do? Aren't you worried? Aren't you scared? No, I'm not, because it always works out. It always works out. Last week, I had 3 interviews. This week, I had 2 interviews. Today, I got a call that they are waiting to get my job offer over to me. It always works out. Now, I could have spent the last 2 months stressing. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to make it? Oh my gosh, nothing's coming. Nobody's calling me. I took this time and I took care of myself. I nurtured myself. I slept. I ate. I went to see my family. I did things that I hadn't done for myself. If I was worried and not living by faith, I wouldn't have done any of that. I would be like, I can't go see my family because I don't know when I'm going to get a paycheck again. So let me hold on to every dime that I have. We cannot allow ourselves to live in a place of scarcity, which goes back to that very first one. Seeing abundance all around, there is more than enough. And we have to know that things will work out always. Even when doors close, things will work out.
I agree, and I'm sorry for your losses that you've experienced. It's not ideal for us a lot of the times, very painful. And I say the way you explain and pull through all that's the exact mindset most people should have in these certain situations. Granted, a lot of them are hard for them, but like you said with everything else too, you didn't really think about the next. You didn't worry about the dimes all the time. You worried about the time and the quality of life. That's why I'm an advocate for people like this taking time to themselves too, even in hard situations. You got to make sure you're good, your family's good, people in your circle are good too. It's not just about the buck. It's just not just about the lifestyle. It's about your inner peace and your people's peace.
Yep. Very, very important. Very, very important. So yeah, I am an advocate for the law of faith. And I will have to say probably for me, that one resonated out of the other one so far tonight. The one thing I like about the laws is that when you start thinking about one, you see how they are all interconnected and how they're tied together. Like, in order to have faith, you have to believe that there is enough, there is abundance, there is enough for everybody, right? Because if
Mm-hmm.
I was, if I felt like there was scarcity, I would be like, there's not another job for me. According to what's going on right now in the media, there are a number of African American women out of work. And it makes you think, okay, well, where are the jobs? You can't have a mindset of scarcity. You have to know that doors will open for you, opportunities will become available, everything will always work out. And so I live by faith. I really do. And it did not come easy. It came at a price. I told my neighbor today, I probably had some stuff going on with my heart from all them 3 o'clock in the morning nights when I woke up, because I didn't think things were going to work out and I didn't have faith, and they worked out anyway. So, gotta have faith.
Agreed.
Mhm. Law of patience is the next one. Everything unfolds in its own time. Patience allows you to flow with life's rhythms instead of forcing what isn't ready. I'll read that one more time. Law of patience. Everything unfolds in its own time. Patience allows you to flow with life's rhythm instead of forcing what isn't ready. So I think that one also goes back to having faith. Just
Mm-hmm.
knowing that maybe not right now, but it's coming, and it's all going to work out.
Yeah. Patience, patience, patience. I say that's something I still struggle with this day a little bit. I mean, I feel like we all do, but that's why I think it's important. You gotta have a little bit of, if you can get it to a full extent, that would be perfect. We're not all perfect, but
What does patience mean to you?
to me, patience is having enough time to just wait for the best to come. Because that's for a lot of situations too. Can't, like you said, you can't force the hand too early. Can't force it when it's not time yet, because if it wasn't time yet, if you force it, well, it's not going to be right. This goes for a number of things, whether it be relationships, whether it be jobs, whether it be like anything of the sort. Can't force it. Anything that's forced, well, it's it's not right. It doesn't feel right either. If you can feel the force in it, so just waiting for something to come naturally, waiting for something to just come to you on its own type of timing. It takes patience. It takes time to just wait it out. It may seem like it's never going to happen, but if you, like you said, it goes back to faith. If you have the faith, if you have a lot of the previous laws we talked about, it can work out. You just got to have, I keep saying faith because it goes back to faith. You got to have faith in, you got to have faith in all of the laws we talked about in order to have patience.
So I think, and I was going to ask you, so do we have, and I know we count years and we think we're getting older, and but do you think we're limited to time?
Don't think we're limited to time.
Because patience speaks to time. And if we have a scarcity mindset about time, we think, oh, time is going to run out, time is going to run out, then that is where we get impatient. And so I think we even have to have an abundance mindset when it comes to time. We've been taught that, time is so limited, but I believe, and I don't always practice this, but I do believe that time can be an illusion sometimes. Time can be an illusion. We all live in this rush. We got to hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And we make mistakes because we are hurrying up. And then we get to where we think we need to be because we think we're missing something. And what we end up getting to wastes a whole lot more time than if we had just been patient.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's I'm telling you, it's like the way these laws kind of work together. If we believe that time is abundant, right? And if something is for us as we're along our journey, it will happen. Because I've rushed into some stuff that I wish that I had been patient. Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. Agreed.
Yes.
Life has its ways of teaching us our lessons.
It does. And that's why these laws are like, like we're going over them and I'm having moments and thinking about things and I'm like, okay, no more scarcity of time. We talk about scarcity and we think about it for money. We think about it for opportunity, but even time, we have to know that there is an abundance of time and nothing is, there's not a scarcity for anything. We just have to
Yeah.
we just have to wait and be patient. So
Notice how every single one of these laws we bring a previous whatever from a previous law.
yeah,
Like you said,
yeah.
it's all interconnected.
Yes, they are all interconnected and it goes really good. And I see you, Miss Exterminator. Those who wait up on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They should run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint, is what I believe it says. So, yes, yes. So, I think that's how it goes. I may have mixed it up, get older, you start twisting stuff. The next one is the law of surrender. So, letting go isn't giving up, it's making room for what's meant for you. Surrender invites divine timing and greater alignment. So, one more time, the law of surrender. Letting go isn't giving up, it's making room for what's meant for you. Surrender invites divine timing and greater alignment. Any thoughts on that? Good night.
In greater one. Yeah, I agree. There are a lot of situations where we, like I can keep saying, we all been through. Like we don't want to let go of the situations, but it's for the best, and it's also to save us from destroying ourselves, destroying what we have, and also, like I said, everything happens for a reason. If it's time to let that go, it's hard. You gotta let it go though, because in the future there might be something you better, or potentially even better. It's not much to say about better because yeah, but when you start thinking about this, it makes you start thinking about all the things that you've been through, and it's just like it makes sense. We gotta close doors to open new doors, whether we like it or not.
Mhm. Yeah.
But it's just life. It's a lesson you learn.
And sometimes it's hard to close those old doors. It really becomes difficult because you feel like this is what's familiar to me. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's easier for me to stay here where it's comfortable and I know exactly what it looks like. I don't want to go into the unknown. Um, but the unknown can be a great place. The unknown can be the place where you need to grow to become your successful business owner, entrepreneur self. If you don't go into the unknown, then you'll end up, doing the same thing. And sometimes that door closing, will push you into the next level or into the next phase of life where you need to go. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I
Step
can
forward in the right direction.
Yeah, and I like the way it says surrender invites divine timing. So it goes back to patience, it goes back to no scarcity when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to time, that there is an abundance of time. And when we surrender, we are inviting alignment for our lives, our purpose, where we need to be, how we need to move. I can share a story. I remember when I was younger, before I got married, I was 19 when the first time I got married, and I was dating this guy. And I had known the guy since I was maybe 12 years old. So I'd known him for a long time. And so, sometimes they're familiar. You're like, I know him. He's familiar. I know his family. I don't have to go through all of that. But there was just something off. It wasn't flowing the way that it needed to flow. And I knew that I needed to break it off. And oh my gosh, I dreaded it. I did not want to break it off. But it just finally got to the point that I was like, I got to break this off. And I was like, but if I break this off, then what's next, right? What's going to happen
Yeah.
next? Am I going to be single for the next 5 years? Am I, what does this look like? So I finally got the courage to break it off and told him I didn't want to see him anymore. We could still be friends because, again, we knew each other's family. And a lady who lived near me, she had been telling me for like the last 2 years, I have this brother I want you to meet. I think you guys would really be great. I want you to meet my brother. And she had said it so much, and I had never met her brother, never seen her with anybody. I'm like, lady, whatever. So broke it off with him. And I want to say within the next week, I saw her just out and about, and she said, I'm going to introduce you to my brother. She didn't know that I had been dating a guy. She didn't know that I had broken, nothing like that. Well, this time she really meant it was time for he and I to meet. We met, we dated for a year, we got married, and we were married for 13 years, and we have 3 kids.
Mm.
Divine timing. Divine timing.
Yeah, the timing between that, yeah, the timing aligns perfectly with when it happened. Like you cut it off, you broke it off, and then
Mhm.
a week, you said a week later or something, right? She said you have to meet
You
her
have to
brother.
meet my brother. And I thought, oh, she's just talking again. And this time her brother came and he showed up. And I was like, oh, she really? I thought that you were a ghost all this time. But yeah, yep, yep, yep.
Yeah,
So
sometimes when something door closes, who knows when the time something better could be happening very soon, or something very different outside your comfort zone could be happening very soon. There's a reason why things happen.
yep. Absolutely. So, yeah, the law of surrender, divine timing, and greater alignment. And I believe in that. When we close doors are no longer, um, that are no longer serving a purpose in our lives, we've outgrown it. We know that it's time to move forward. We know it's time to move to a new place. We know it's time to get a new job because things are just kind of going haywire, and and instead of staying in the haywire, I think we have to step back and say, okay, is it time to surrender this? Is it time to let go? Is it time for something new? And it can even be in love relationships, marriage relationships, in jobs, in whatever it may be. Sometimes it is just time to surrender. And I know people, we all have this mindset that marriage is forever, love is forever. I will tell you, the husband that I just told you about, we were married for 13 years. We were together for 17 total. Um, and he's remarried. We get along great. He's mad at me now, but we get along great. I have a great relationship with his new wife. It just wasn't forever, and it was okay. Our time was great. We have three, four amazing children that we share among us that are all doing great. I can't complain. I, who would complain about that?
People who don't follow the laws that we talked about.
I love it. Yes, 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 Taryn.
Yeah, because that's like the best response I've heard to that type of situation. Everything you'll be hearing now in mainstream is because people don't follow the laws we just talked about.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why they are so important. I think we don't know that they're at work, but they're at work, whether we believe it or not. It's like I said, Murphy's Law. They're at work. And so if we know them, then we can apply them and use them in our lives to make things easier for ourselves and the world around us. Because the first law is the law of oneness. We are all connected. And if we are all connected and we're all touching each other, even though we're not physically touching each other, what I do affects you. If I'm hurt, it affects you. It may just be a little piece, but it affects you. It impacts you. If you're hurting or you're not forgiving, it affects you and it affects me, even though I may not see it. I may not even know. We just met today, but everything in your life and my life, we're all interconnected. It's the law of oneness. And once we realize that, I think the world would be a much better place. It's not, I'm white, you're black, you're green. No, we're all connected. I don't care what you look like. And your little ounce of hate or I don't like you because of, or I'm greedy because of it. It affects all of us. And so,
Mm-hmm.
we have to know these laws and really look at how they apply to us and how we can apply them to our lives to make things better for everybody. Hey, Andrea. Hey, Julian. Thank you guys for joining.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So the next one is the law of truth.
Truth. Ah.
The law of truth. And I laugh because Julian, who is on, Mr. Make It Happen, he believes that lies are better than the truth. So we'll see what he has to say about it. So truth liberates. Living authentically removes fear and it allows you to build relationships, careers, and choices rooted in honesty. I had a friend that used to always say, I'm not going to lie. This is his favorite. He would say, I'm not going to lie because I can't remember that tomorrow. So I believe in telling the truth. Just be honest. I mean, how hard is it to just not live in your truth, whatever that is. So,
Yeah, I agree. Lies. I mean, we're not gonna lie. We all lie. We all lie. Whether it be big or small, we all lie. We can't lie. I mean, that's being truthful right there. We all lie. I mean, I think I lied like
and
one time today.
that is a truth. And that is a truth. And that is saying, you know what? Yes, I do lie. I do lie. I lie. Absolutely. That is my truth. I lie. I'm dishonest. Sometimes I am not authentic. I don't feel like it. I don't want to play the game.
Yeah, we all have our moments, as with everything. I lied like once or twice today. We're human. But I think at some point, you gotta tell the truth more times than lie, because the lies will be the death of you. Truth will be the death of you, but not
Okay,
in the
you
way
gotta
lies will.
honor if you tell the truth. Well,
No,
people.
not in the way that the lies would. Not the way that the lie was. Like, the truth will set you free, if you know what I mean. The lies will make, let's say, let me give an example. Let's say, I know I'm thinking about this. I don't think I'm articulating it the best way. So let's say you're a constant liar. You lie all the time about constantly a pathological lie. You lie about anything. Know one of them very well. Runs our country, but uh, if finally just told the truth. Finally just told the truth. It wouldn't have no impact. It wouldn't have no impact. You wouldn't even think it is the truth. That's how detrimental lies are. If you tell the truth all the time, you tell a lie, but you still tell the truth all the time. It it creates a legacy, if you think about it, like a legacy to you. Like, you're trustworthy, and it it defines your character. If you just lie all the time, like, you can't be trusted, and you're not even being true to yourself with anything. Like, you lying about things you have no business lying about. You lying about things no one even asked about. That doesn't make any sense at all. You lie so much that you create this false truth to yourself, that you start believing your own lies. And so I don't understand how people can say that lies are good. To save people from being in trouble, of course, it sounds good, but it's always going to come back later. That's why it's important to tell the truth. If you did something bad, tell the truth, face the consequences, which we know that's easier said than done. But
Or plead the fifth. You
I
can
mean, yeah,
always plead the fifth. That's the nice gray area. And then you don't have to tell a lie or the truth. You just sit in the middle and own, I plead the fifth. That's it. And keep it moving. And I think the truth in this situation is just being authentic to yourself and who you are, and really saying and owning, yes, I lied, right? That's my truth. I lied. My truth is I was dishonest about X, Y, and Z, right? That's my truth. That's me being true. Even in my faults, I'm being truthful, right? It's taking ownership. I think this truth is taking ownership. Not so much not telling a lie, but taking ownership and being authentic, and not pretending to not tell a lie or covering a lie with another lie, or, yeah, that's how it's resonating with me.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, gotta once if you're true with yourself, you can be true with anybody, because this goes like yourself. You How you carry yourself is how, and how you treat yourself is how you would carry other people and treat other people too. You're an example of the energy you give. It's not only to yourself and to others. So yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm. Yeah, good stuff. The next one is the law of healing. Healing starts within. When you tend to your inner wounds, you change the way you show up in the world and create space for others to heal too. So, healing starts within. When you tend to your own inner wounds, you change the way you show up in the world and create space for others to heal too.
Yeah, that's actually a good one. I like the use of that one. Like, I like sharing experiences all the time with people, because not only it helps me just reliving the it helps me relive what, like, the experiences I went through, but not in, like, in a bad light, but as in a lesson type of light, and also gives me the time to pass it to the next person to make sure they don't make those mistakes, or that they're fully educated on that matter, so they don't make the same mistakes I did, or they can learn what I learned at the time when I didn't have like the patience or any of that to learn what I learned. So yeah, having like scars and healing from it, and then shit, like you said, sharing the wounds, and then just having them heal in the process of sharing while passing them down. It's like a win-win for the person you're sharing to, and win-win for yourself because you're sharing information and you're growing from the information you say to you're sharing too.
Yep, yep, yep. And it's the saying, I lied about that, and I lied because, you know, my background is this, and this is what I've seen, and it was detrimental to me, and I didn't want to pass that down.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And it starts within. When we tend to our own inner wounds, that is a big thing. When we tend to our own inner wounds, we change the way we show up in the world and create space for others to heal too. That's pretty powerful. Hey, Andrea.
Hey Elle, how are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you for joining. Hey, Julian. Thanks for joining.
Now,
Okay.
let's be real. Let's be real. You are not gonna show up as your true self, and this is people in general. Whether when it comes to your own inner wounds until you have a safe space, you don't do that. In my particular situation, I did not do that
Okay.
until then. So when you have a safe space, you don't open up those wounds because you really and truly never want anyone to take advantage of that. And that's pure honesty.
So the law of healing. So this is the law. This is the law of healing. It says healing starts within. So we have to look at ourselves first. When we tend to our inner wounds, we change the way we show up in the world, and we create a space for others to heal too. So, what I am getting from this is the law of healing speaks to being vulnerable. The law of healing means me and you talking, and you saying, I say, hey, Andrea, how was your day today? And you say, my day was great. And I say, mine wasn't so good, girl. I had this. And you say, you know what? Mine wasn't either. But I always got to put on this mask because I am a professional and I show up in corporate America this way. And thank you for allowing me to say today was not great, right? It's that is what I am getting from this law. That is the law. The law of healing is when we are able to show up for ourselves first and be honest and say, you know what, it didn't work today. And we're used to putting on this face, but I open up and I'm vulnerable to you. It then causes you to say, you know what, I had the same experience, right?
Right.
We can kind of have this conversation and figure out what it was, what needs to be healed, what the real issue is, and how to move forward.
How many really, and this is just pure honesty, how many sisters do that? Not on a social media platform, but that's a private conversation. And so truly your safe space is in your private spaces.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree.
So with that being said, that's just where it lies.
But no, but I will tell you, I have been out. I have been out and I will be out somewhere. And I'll be talking to somebody and I'll be smiling and laughing and I'll say something and they'll say, no, that's what's going on here. I'm not okay today. It's not okay. But it took because I was open and vulnerable and I said, yeah, I'm smiling, but things really aren't okay. Or I'm not, they felt comfortable enough to open up and share. And I think when we show up like that in the world and let other people know, and I'm not saying, really personal, deep, deep, deep stuff, but there are ways that we can show up healed for other people or show other people that we are healing that they then will attach and start doing work themselves.
Straight facts. And that comes with being honest and open. So I appreciate that conversation, and because that is true. But when you're on a platform, sometimes you have to be very careful. And I'm saying that in all complete honesty. Be very, very careful of vices that come your way. And that's because of private conversation. You know does that make sense?
Mm,
Lies, huh? Somebody said y'all were looking for me. Here I go.
See?
we looking for you. Okay, so share, elaborate. I'm listening.
All right. Let's go there. First of all, the rules of self healing. I get where we say the truth. The truth is actually meant for you. I definitely don't believe that it is meant for us to try to express because there's literally too much risk in it.
Well, I think the law of truth is not expressing the truth to everyone, it's living authentically. There's a
Yes.
difference between expressing and living authentically, right?
Hmm.
There's a
I
difference.
agree. It's totally about yourself.
Yes,
Never ever lie to yourself. I do believe that one.
yes.
Extending it to others, I'm not really big on that one, as you know. The idea of giving people the total truth, with that one, there's too much risk involved.
I,
You're handing away too much power.
I understand what you're saying about giving people your secrets or letting people know everything about you. I agree with that. But this is more about living it, living authentically.
If I tell you I'm probably gonna lie to you,
But
that's an
that's
authentic
your
truth.
truth. But that is your truth. If you gonna lie to me and you tell me you gonna lie, that is your truth. That's your truth. And I can say, Julian said he was gonna lie to me. And so if you lie, oh, Julian just lying. I know he always lying. That's just who he is. It's easy for me to accept that, right? Because you let me know that's who you are. I'm not expecting anything more. That is my expectation of you. That is you authentically showing up, being who you are, right? Does
Hmm.
that make sense, Andrea?
She's not even responding, but yes,
I,
I do
it
get you on that
it
one.
Yes,
it
no?
make it makes sense to me.
Okay.
That's why things are in.
Appreciate you. Thank you for joining. Enjoyed you.
That's why it's always in a safe space.
I gotcha. So these laws. So let me. I know you guys jumped in a little bit later. So we are going over laws 13 through 24 of the spiritual laws, and just talking about what the laws are, how we've seen them show up in our lives, and what they mean to us, and how they apply. And then as we were going over them, how they tie back to some of the other laws that we've already covered, like the law of patience, the law of truth, um, the law of clarity, the law of gratitude, the law of forgiveness, the law of faith, the law of surrender. So we were talking about the law of truth. Truth liberates. Like, I know I run late. I'm always running late. If somebody tells you I'm gonna be on time, they don't know me because I'm always 15 minutes late. It's just who I am is what I do, right? And so that's my truth. I'm 15 minutes late. You can count on me being 15 minutes late. Don't take any offense. It's not against you. It's just I run late. If I happen to show up on time, it's because I got out extra early and I just happen to get there extra early. But if I'm running on time, I'm usually 15 minutes late. That's my truth.
Sis, be 15 minutes early.
I believe they taught educated women that in college somewhere because I've never met one that can't be less than 15 minutes late.
Yeah, so it's just that thing. I mean, and that's my truth. That is my truth. And I'll be like, don't hold it against me. Please don't get upset. It's who I am. And so
Yes,
those who know,
I do agree.
Elle's
I
gonna
agree
run.
with the truth part to yourself. I just don't want people to misconstrue that with the idea of walking around being truthful. Those are two different things.
Yeah, yeah. So it's being authentic. It's being true to yourself. It's walking in your truth and who you are. That's the law of truth. Anything else you guys want to add to that? And I agree with you about sharing your truth in a safe space. No, there's some things people just don't need to know. It's not their business. It's not their truth. Yeah, it's not theirs. It's not theirs to have. And
Yeah,
usually you have true conversations with people you are intimate and personal relationships with, right? That you value, that you think enough of to share with them what's really going on. So, yes, you are absolutely right about that. Absolutely. Anything else about the law of truth? What about in
no,
your
I'm good.
career? How does truth apply in your career?
I honestly think that if you listen to your nose, you may find that the career that you think you want is not exactly what you want. If you are truthfully honest with yourself, you're stressing yourself sometimes for a paycheck, sometimes because you convince yourself that this is your chosen profession and you must do it, or someone else did it and you think that's an automatic next step. You may find a place that you really don't want to be in, even though it's more successful to society than where you were truly happy.
And I think the law of gratitude was one. I'm sorry, no, the law of clarity was one that we covered. And as we were talking about it, the law of clarity basically says clarity creates direction and power. The more specific you are about what you want, the easier it becomes for life to align you with that focus. And Terrence, the young man who was just on, we were talking about that, and I was sharing with him that a lot of times we will say, okay, I want this, but then it ends up being hard for us. And it's because it's not where we're supposed to be. It's not. I mean, if it's just like not a challenge, but it's just hard, like everything, nothing aligns, then that's not where we're supposed to be. And we may be living in what we thought somebody else wanted, or all our friends said, oh, okay, this is what I want to do, as a career. And so we have to be very clear about what we want. And once we get clear about it and we start doing it and we focus on it, then everything kind of moves in that direction for us.
Yep. As you mentioned, the laws tie themselves together. I think clarity is definitely gained in that law of patience. As you sit in the middle of something, it actually gives you time to receive clarity. The things that you do and do not like. On a personal level, many people have spoken to me with the idea that hospice nursing pays way better than any other type of nursing for my particular skill level. But I know for a fact I could never see myself doing that type of nursing, mainly because I'm not built like that. Now, I do appreciate the nurses that do, and more power to them. People will say it's a lot easier than what I do, but I could never see myself there because believing in myself authentically, I know that I am not that type of person. I don't possess the ability to wait on death.
Interesting. I don't know if I shared this at one point. I had thought about turning my house into like a hospice home.
Hmm.
Since you brought that up. And I
It
think
is.
the reason I thought about it was after dealing, having my mother on hospice and then my grandmother and then my grandpa. Well, it was after my mother and my grandmother. I was like, maybe I should, and maybe some of it was the grief of feeling like I wish I could have been there and done more for them, that I thought about opening myself up to be there for other people's family. I don't know. They say don't make any decisions within the first year, but that was something that I thought about within the first year of, after they left. So sorry, I kind of sidebarred, but yeah,
Definitely
My
understandable.
go ahead.
I mean, it's totally understandable. Once again, that lends itself to your laws, patience, actually discovering clarity. Those things take time. A wise philosopher once said, just because we can do something doesn't mean we always should. And I've tried to move with that policy in mind with most things. Just because you can do something does not mean that you should. In the middle of patience, and it allows you to gain clarity, especially when a lot of times it's easy. That makes things very, very hard to resist. Patience for any human is very hard. The idea of someone telling you to wait literally freezes the human mind, because we come up with 1,001 questions. Why? What for? Is this truly meant to be? No. And all these involve having the patience to wait. One of our biggest struggles.
Andrea, you want to say something?
I did. And I will say this. When it comes to just certain things, when it comes to hospice care, you have to be very mindful and understand your process in healing with grief. I remember your show from the weeks before. Um, if you're not ready, my suggestion, and it's only a suggestion, is don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to be surrounded with death, because that is the inevitable when it comes to hospice care, which is palliative care now, and comfort care. And you have to be very mindful of what you're willing to accept, because sometimes families are not just ready for that.
Mhm.
And it's okay. And then sometimes families are too ready for that. And that's okay too, because that's their truth. And so just know that you're basically the mediator at that point. You are the comfort and the palliative care for the patient, as well as for the family. And
Responsibility.
that's a big responsibility. You have to be ready for it. You have to be respectable of it. And then just, I would definitely say, just from hearing your background on here, on as far as your project management and just things that I've heard you say, is that just you're preparing yourself for a different level of care, because with project management you can care or not care, you just want your project done. But in this, am I right or wrong?
You right. You right. You right.
Now, in this aspect of care, the same care that you have for your family, you have to kind of take that on, and it is more emotional than logical to me.
Mhm.
And that's my opinion of it, only because of my background in education and in nursing. And I'm just telling you that, and I've actually volunteered to where some people have been, there are different stages of hospice care. There were some where I just walked in and I was the straight companion for a terminally ill patient, but she was in her own home. and she just needed someone to talk to every day. So there are different levels, and I definitely say just do your research on it and just be mindful. And if you're going in with it truly with the compassion of, you know what, I want to help these people and not just the business aspect of it, because it and to be honest, it's a moneymaker.
Yeah, it was for me the reason I thought about it, and it's I after my father passed, which was about 4 years ago, I wanted to go into cremation services. That was something that I considered. So I wanted to go into something around end of life care. And then after losing my mother and my grandmother, I thought because before losing them, I was going to turn my house into an ambulatory care home, right? That was my one of my thoughts. I'm sorry, we're getting off topic, but um, and then after they got sick and passed, then I thought, oh, okay, maybe this is where I need to be. I haven't made any decisions. I may decide that none of them work for me once I'm done grieving, right? But in the moment, it just seemed like helping people around loss was something that I wanted to do. We'll see
Yeah.
what life brings.
I offer you this one, my friend.
That's it.
That whole numb feeling that we feel right after grief often leads us to want to feel something. And unfortunately, loss may be the last feeling you remember feeling, which is one reason that pushes you to think about being around grief, because at least then I felt something. Just a thought.
That's a great thought. I never thought about that. And yes, that probably has a lot to do with it. So, yeah, I need to focus on the law of clarity and figure out what this next direction is and take it from there. But for now, my first focus is job. Once I start working, and then I'll figure out what the next steps are after that. So,
You got this, sis.
And the law of patience. Hold still.
oh, I shared earlier, I got a call from my interview yesterday. I'll have something from them tomorrow or the next day. So,
Good
yeah,
Okay.
deal.
yes. So it is all working out. So the next law is the law of unity. And I heard you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate the words, Andrea. The law of unity. We are stronger together than apart. Unity reminds us that building bridges, not walls, is the path to growth and peace. Read it one more time. The law of unity. We are stronger together than apart. Unity reminds us that building bridges, not walls, is the path to growth and peace.
Baby, let me tell you something. Peace is the bridge to everything that you just said all that before. I don't I heard it backwards, but the first thought when you read it the first time, I was like, it's just simple. Peace. When you have peace with everything else, peace just for your own, that leads to your own clarity, that leads to God giving you your understanding, and then walking in faith. Everything that you and Terrence had in the conversation, that was straight facts. But you don't have to go around in circles to see it.
Mhm.
Peace surpasses all understanding, because you're gonna live in truth, you're gonna walk in faith, and then you're not gonna worry about anything else. If you are worried about everything else, what's the point of prayer?
No point at all. And you have to believe so the faith is there, but then you have to believe that there is not scarcity. So the law of abundance comes into play because we were talking about time. And if you think, oh, I only have a little bit of time, I can't do this, I can't. That's a
You have
scarcity
time to prepare.
mindset.
That's called grace. It's called grace.
Yes. So
If we are able to wake up and open our eyes the next day, you want to know what that's called? That's called grace.
yes, yep, yep. It is grace. Absolutely right.
Okay, I'm done because you always go past my bedtime.
Oh God, we only got what 20? How many more minutes do we have? 40 more minutes, and we're done. Thank you. So
L,
I
L,
was
L,
Oh no, they told me
L,
Lady of Love stops at midnight, so we.
L. I fall asleep in about 10 minutes.
okay. So 9:30 is the cutoff. Yeah. So I was
But look, it might be for me, but if you continue to talk, you continue to talk. I have no problem. I'm gonna listen.
thank you
That's called peace.
thank you for jumping on and have
I
a
appreciate
wonderful
you.
rest of the week. I appreciate you too. Thank you so much. Yes. So
You too. Talk to you soon.
talk to you.
Love you much.
Okay. Okay. So law of unity, Julian. Anything you want to add?
For that one, I'll leave that one alone.
Okay.
I'm
I
not really a
think
people
I
person.
think Andrea summed that one up. The law of unity. We are stronger together than apart. Unity reminds us that building bridges, not walls, is the path to growth and peace. And I agree with that. It sums itself up. The law of purpose. Purpose is your soul's compass. When you live aligned with your unique calling, life becomes meaningful and fulfilling. I'll read that one again. The law of purpose. Purpose is your soul's compass. When you live aligned with your unique calling, life becomes meaningful and fulfilling.
Yes, I definitely agree with that one. The problem with that one is the total and the idea of being truthful with yourself. It's very hard to understand your purpose if you're full of what everybody else has told you, situations you've encountered that actually cause you pain, and you find yourself wanting more or thinking you want more. So as you start to find your purpose, it's so unique, especially for me, to realize that your purpose is nowhere near what you thought. It will give you a definition of who you are that you never even thought of.
So, can you share how you got to your purpose?
Mm, Mine was a total reflection on my life, and at which point, which we were talking about the law of unity, and which point was I at peace? I looked at when the rest of the world considered itself in the middle of chaos. As I find myself a person who is literally able to stay calm in the middle of chaos. And I find myself, unfortunately, attracted to those who need the peace that I bring. I started to realize that it wasn't a stretch for me to do these things. I wasn't acting out of character. When people gave me compliments of something, they really didn't seem like compliments to me because I don't feel like I had exerted myself in any fashion. It was a total truth to me. And with that, I started to, another law, have patience, and pretty much understand that this is just who I am versus who I thought I needed to be. It can be very fulfilling. It's literally the reason you wake up every day. And a lot of times it's not even related to your job or the things that you think you want.
And you said sometimes it's not related to your job or the things that you think you want. Your purpose is not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think we a lot of the times tie our purpose to work. We tie our purpose to finding that thing that's going to bring us success and money. We think our purpose is something magical. So help dispel that myth.
I think it truly is magical. It's a power inside you that you never even noticed you had. For me personally, on a personal level, I started to realize, and mine luckily is part of my profession, but for the longest, there was always the character. And feeding the character and the people that the character attracted were often fly by night because they had no real attachment to me. Once I realized my purpose, for me, one, I don't know why, but I was born the quintessential middle child. So I've always been the rock in the middle of the storm. People ask me why, and there is no explaining why. It's just me. I don't have to put the character up, anything like that. When people talk to me with their stories, with their grief, I'm able to listen, be calm, and just let them express themselves and feel it. And I realize that that's just who I am. It doesn't take any extra effort on my part. For our purpose, a lot of times we will find that the effort that we extend is often just to create the character, not to actually be the blessing you were meant to be. As things are drawn in my life, I never really know why. And a long time ago, I quit asking why.
Night.
With patience, the law of patience, I literally just accept what comes, and I also accept what leaves. I do believe that in some instances, that may have been all I was meant to be for those people in their lives. And I hope with the best of me, and I pray that I gave them some little bit of light to take with them as they go. I mean, your purpose, it may look a lot like your job. Don't get me wrong, because we do what comes easy to us. But when you start to look at it on a personal level, you'll realize that your idea of putting systems together and showing people how they work, you start to reflect, how have those worked on a personal level? What little bit of knowledge, even when I didn't know I was lending it, has affected people? That's where you find your purpose.
That's good.
It's
That's
in,
good.
yeah, it's in what feeds your soul.
You know, one of my captions was, I like doing work that feeds my soul. And somebody asked me, what does that mean? What does that mean? And I was like, things that when I do it, it doesn't feel like work and it recharges me. So I'm giving out, but while I'm giving out, I am also being recharged. I'm not giving out and I feel like, oh my gosh, that depleted all of my energy, but I'm giving it out. And at the same time, I'm energizing myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Hey, as we do what we're doing right now on social media, one that comes to me is, I always feel like the world has forgotten about love, which is the big one that changes the entire game. So right now, my purpose as we sit out here is to remind people in any type of relationship that love exists,
Mhm.
that there's a force out there that says, I'll put you above me if that's what it takes for you to feel like you're worthy. And I walk this walk not as some character, not because anybody told me to, just an innate power that I feel that I have to give love back to the world.
Yep.
So this is the walk that I'll take.
I thought the law of love was on here for these 12. I think it may be in the next 12, but when you said the law of love, I was like, I think that's in this section, but it's not. It is not. So let's see. That's good stuff.
Hey, not to get off topic, but I meet a lot of awesome people who have. They've been through so much until they've forgotten not only about love, but to love themselves. And I feel like that's my purpose to remind people.
Yeah, I was talking about you today. I'm like, and Julian got me all up in this love thing, thinking about love again. I was like, that's not what I plan to do with my life right now. That was not my
No,
plan, Julian. That was not the
yeah,
plan. The plan was not to be thinking about love right now. The plan was to be doing and accomplishing stuff and not thinking about love. That was not on the agenda.
all
More
I got to say is you've done all that.
everything.
How that worked out for you so far?
Hey, hey, I don't know. We'll talk about it. That'll be another topic. How has it worked out so far? That's what we'll talk about next. How has it worked out this far? I was on task and now I can't find my list.
See what love does to everybody?
Yeah, yeah. It definitely changes things. I can say that. I can definitely say that it changes things. So, law of unity, yeah, it is the law of love. The law of love is number 24. Law of purpose. The last one is the law of love. And look at you being on top of it and didn't even have a list and you brought up love. Oh my
No idea.
goodness. Yes, you did. The next one, because we just talked about the law of purpose. The next one after that was the law of love. So let me find the definition of the law of love so we can discuss it because I knew it was here. I just could not. That's what I was doing, and I was like, "Oh, I lost my spot." So let me find the law of love and see what it says. Pulling it up. Okay, where are you? I had the whole list with all the definitions, and then I touched the screen, and it all disappeared because Emmerich was
Mm,
trying to ask me for more screen time, and I'm like, "No, it's time for you to go to bed." Love is the highest law of all. It transforms pain, unites differences, and brings light whenever it's expressed.
exactly.
That is what love is. And I believe that. I absolutely believe that. And I have seen it at work. And I have experienced it. Um, I think after all of the grief though, it does not show up the same way for a little while. Um, and I just didn't want to give it out.
True.
I just didn't want to give it out. So, and I feel like love should be reciprocal, right? And I was looking for love, but because it's not coming in, I'm not giving it out. But I know the power of love, and I know that love is the highest of all. That love conquers and covers everything. It really does. I believe that. And
I
I know,
mean, like I told you before, grief is just love with no place to go.
mm-hmm. Yep, you did say that. You did say that. Grief is love with no place to go.
And I offer you this one, my friend. It makes you reflect on The idea of giving love to those who still have the power to reciprocate, it can make you upset. I totally get it. I was there for a long time.
Repeat that last part you said. It makes you reflect on the power of those who can give love.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Those that we love who didn't reciprocate. When you lose those who no longer have the ability to reciprocate, it can make you very spiteful. To think that I gave you love and you ignored it, and now I'm at a stage where I'm so full of love for someone who has moved on and they don't have that power. It can easily make you spiteful toward those who can give you love, but they're not able to reciprocate what you're putting out.
And I think that is where I am. I think you said that perfectly. I think you said that perfectly. Yes, that was the perfect way of defining that. That love after grief and what it looks like. And those who are not reciprocating, it makes you angry because you know what it feels like. And so anybody that had been sliding on the grace of the love that those other people gave, they can no longer slide. They don't get that position anymore
Exactly.
because they were basically getting grace from,
True.
yeah, yes. So that is a great analogy. I think that was perfectly said. Um, and that helped to that opened at least my eyes to looking at it differently. And I can continue to love. I just the love will go to those who reciprocate.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Right now, you have one of the biggest blessings to be able to understand. And those are the two little eyes that looked at you tonight and said, "Can I have more screen time?" Because nothing beats the love of a child. I don't care how you look at it. And it makes you more appreciative and understanding that there is still love out there. So I'm not being cruel. I'm just making conscious decisions on the fact that I see love now and I know it exists. So I don't have to tell myself stories that I'm giving out love and sooner or later they'll reciprocate. When you start to embrace all the love that's actually around you, that helps give you a clearer picture.
Hmm.
Because a lot of times, in grief especially, we get so focused on the love that we want to give until it's easy not to think about the love that we're getting. It's just one of those selfish things that grief causes. I mean, as a mother, you know there's nothing like that unbeknownst hug that comes and you don't even know why Emery is so happy.
Hmm. Yep.
There's nothing like that call from whatever friend that you don't really talk to who says, "Hey, how you doing?" Embrace all the love that's around you. I can't say it'll make it easier, but at least it will give you something.
Yeah. Yep. And that is true. That is true. It's funny that you brought up the last line before we even got to it. So that was a good one. So I'm going to recap all of the laws. So we had the law of abundance. Abundance is everywhere waiting to be noticed. When we focus on gratitude and possibility, we began to attract more than enough in every area of our lives. You want to add anything
Mm-hmm.
to that one?
Yes, I definitely believe that once we get out of our own heads, we'll realize that every day of our life we wake up with two things, and that's a choice and a chance. And there are so many choices and so many chances. If you wake up every day looking for those, you will realize how abundant this world is with everything you want.
Well said. And I'll just piggyback. I said earlier that we have to look at life with the glass half full and know that there is more than enough for everybody, and there is not scarcity in this world. No matter what the media feeds us, no matter what is going on around us, if we believe that there is more than enough, there is more than enough. And there is no reason that we can't have what is out there that is for us. The next one was the law of clarity. Clarity creates direction and power. The more specific you are about what you want, the easier it becomes for life to align with your focus.
Yes, very big one. That one feeds into so much. When you take time to one of the old things I remember in going through my young phase was, if you choose the idea of making a choice, things become a lot clearer. If you see something you want versus trying to estimate, should I have it? Do I want it? Once you make a choice, it's one or the other. That's when everything goes out the window. That's why clarity is so important. If you see something that you truly want, and I can only speak from a man's point of view, then by all means go after it. And once you make the decision to go after it, eliminate all excuses. You will find that the universe itself actually works together for your benefit once you truly decide that you want something.
Yep.
And I don't think always it's just so much the universe deciding as the stop signs and the roadblocks no longer matter to you as they would if you were half decision, half no decision. That's what clarity brings you. As a man, when you look at something and say, I truly know that I want this and I will possess it, as much as the universe helps you, the little pitfalls won't matter as much because you're clear on what you want. I mean, I saw something, I don't remember who it was, some pop figure or something, who says that when a man works for something, gives sweat, blood, and tears, it'll be a cold day in hell before you can take it from him. And once you make a decision, that's how you feel about something. You will have it come what may. And that type of clarity, even the angels themselves find themselves lending themselves to help you.
That is a powerful thing. So that is the law of clarity, and I agree. I agree. The next one is the law of gratitude. Gratitude multiplies whatever it touches. By appreciating even the small things, you open up the door to more joy, opportunities, and blessings.
Yes, being grateful for what you have is one that we must not forget. When you're on your path, even your path to something greater, remember to be grateful for the ability to go after it. Gratitude makes everything better. Opening your eyes every day and knowing that I'm thankful that my eyes are open produces, even in our professional world, a different aspect of it. Instead of going to this job saying, oh my God, I got to do this for money, having a spirit of gratitude saying, thank you, God, for the abilities that I possess and the chance to show them off, you get a whole different person. Gratitude alone can change your entire being. It definitely changes how you show up in the world every day. And a lot of times that gratitude and that graciousness can unknowingly affect everything around you.
I agree. I agree. The next one was the law of forgiveness. Forgiveness frees you from the weight of the past. When we release ourselves and others, we create space for healing and growth.
Interesting one. I struggle with that one.
Well, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago, and my take on that was, first of all, we have to decide how we individually forgive. What is our process? Is it stepping away? Is it having a conversation? Is it how do we start that process, and then what does it look like? And that's something that is individual for everyone, and we have to figure it out and come up with it. But I do believe that when we forgive, we do create space for healing and growth. And I do believe that unforgiveness, as much as we think that, oh, I just am not forgiving this person, because of the law of oneness, our unforgiveness touches the other people around us, whether we know it or not. If I am angry and I have not forgiven the people in my life, you, Julian, you haven't done anything to me, but because of my unforgiveness for others, you may receive some of the wrath that I had because of their actions. And that's not fair to you. So it is important for me to forgive so that I don't take that crap and spread it all over and give it to people who don't deserve it. And what comes to mind is a song by Music Soul Child when he says, I'm not to blame for the pain that was caused by previous cats. It's nobody else's fault. It's the person that did whatever they did. They're the ones responsible. But if I don't forgive their wrong, I'll carry it around and place it on other people who don't deserve it.
I get that one. Definitely like that one.
Yeah. Yeah. So then the next one is the law of faith. Faith means trusting what you cannot yet see. It is the bridge between your vision and reality, keeping you sturdy when doubt appears.
Yes, that one right there is, to me, such a personal one. I remember it said one time that a bird will land on even the smallest branch. But the trick is his faith is not in the branch, it's in its own wings. I think one of the things about having faith in things you cannot see is having that faith in yourself. Believing in yourself, believing in your God and the powers that you possess. If you were to have faith in something, it gives you a belief that, honestly and truly, like they say, passes all understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is that you see, I heard this said one time, anything that you can see, you can achieve. Because unbeknownst to you, you've already achieved it once in your own mind. The only thing you're doing is bringing it to fruition in this world. If a man tells himself something as simple as, I will possess this, and with true faith he believes it, he's already done it once. Now he just needs to repeat that action in the physical world. I think this is why faith is so important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I shared earlier that faith for me is because I have learned throughout life that no matter what, things are always going to work out. So I don't stress like I used to. Um, I used to have 3 o'clock mornings where I'd wake up panicked about what was going to happen. I don't do that anymore because life has proven over and over and over again through faith that it's going to always work out.
Definitely.
The next one is the law of patience. Everything unfolds in its own time. Patience allows you to flow with life's rhythm instead of forcing what isn't ready.
Hmm.
And
Beautiful one.
I took that one back to the law of abundance. You know, there is no scarcity in this life, there's not scarcity of time. And if something is for us, we just have to be patient because it is coming. It's coming. We don't have to force it. And when we force stuff, when we get into stuff that we should not, because we are not being patient, it can turn out ugly.
Definitely true. I totally agree with that one.
Yeah. Did you want?
Because we never know where life flows.
Yep. Nope.
I mean, I met a troublemaker over 12 years ago and never thought I'd be on a podcast trying to be surprised where life leads you.
I think you were the troublemaker, but I'll take it. But I'll take it. I know, right?
Sweet little innocent me.
Yeah. Oh, country boys, y'all country boys. I don't know what to say about you. So, anything else you want to add to the law of patience before I move on to the law of surrender?
Nothing much. Just learn that life is about ebbs and flows. Learn to ride the wave.
Yep.
What is truly for you will come.
I agree. And the beauty's in the journey,
Hmm.
not in the destination. And sometimes the journey is long.
Yes.
But that is where the beauty is. So, the law of surrender. Letting go isn't giving up, it's making room for what's meant for you. Surrender invites divine timing and greater alignment. And I really like that one. I like that it invites divine timing and greater alignment.
I do like that one. That one almost lends itself to clarity to me. Because there's one thing about time is it always produces change. Sometimes in our life, by forcing things, we actually may end up with something that we're not ready for. Wanting something doesn't mean that you're at a point in your life where you're ready for it.
Or that
I
it's
heard it.
for you, or that that thing is good for you because you want it. Because you want it doesn't mean that it's necessarily what is good for you.
And sometimes with our goals, we have to grow into who we need to be able to even get what we want. And that's what kills a lot of us is time and patience. It is a hard one.
Mhm. Yep.
Sometimes the universe doesn't say no, it says you're not ready yet.
Says not now. Not now. The next one is the law of truth. The law of truth. The law of a lie. The law of truth. The law of truth says truth liberates. Living authentically removes fear and allows you to build relationships, careers, and choices rooted in honesty.
I totally agree that being truthful with yourself is the most powerful thing on earth. That whole idea of not lying to other people, I don't get that one. But I do agree with the law of truth and the authenticity that it produces in you as a person. One of the ways, I've always said it is paying attention to your own nose and realizing for yourself who you are, what matters, and truly what you want and are willing to sacrifice for it. It's one of the hardest things for people, especially because none of us literally want to hurt people. But sometimes you realize that by listening to your own authentic self, something you may have thought you wanted, and it's hard to tell people that I thought I wanted it and I was sure I wanted it. But when I look totally at myself, I don't.
Yeah.
Especially in a world where someone's always telling us how to be nowadays. The hardest thing to do is to look at all those things, eliminate them, and only go after what you want. That's authentic. And once again, the truth hurts. You don't believe that. I do.
I didn't say it didn't hurt. I just said I prefer the truth. I never said it didn't hurt. I believe a lie hurts more than the truth because a lie is, and I'm just going to go there, that somebody does not like me versus thinking that they do. And I trust them because we're living a lie and something happened to me because I trusted them when their intentions weren't pure. I want the truth.
It doesn't hurt till they tell the truth. If they continue to lie, it'll be great.
Yeah, but them lying then leads me down a path of deception and puts me in a position that's not safe for me. And to me, the truth is safe. Because if I know the truth, I can protect myself. If I don't, and I'm moving in your lie, then you have power to do harm to me.
I get that one. I do get that one. It's not that I don't understand that.
And that is where the truth, that is why the truth is powerful to me. Or you are putting me in a position that someone else can do harm to me because you are living a lie. And I don't ever want to be in a position where where I don't feel safe. And I know that there's no way not to do that. But when I have control over it, that's how I want
I get you. I'll let you keep your truth.
it. You're like, whatever, Elle.
Yeah.
That may be another title and another name that we have to use for what we're calling the lie and the truth, but it's more about me feeling safe. It's about safety to me. It is about knowing what is going on around me, the things that I can control, right? It's not the things that are out of my control. Those, but when it's right here in I want the truth. I would prefer the truth.
Gotcha. I hear that terrible stuff.
Okay, well, we are at 9:58. We are 2 minutes to 10. It has been a great show, great 2 hours. We've covered a lot. Anything you want to add, Mr.
My
What
biggest my biggest
is the
thing
name
is
change? Real quick, explain the name. Where did the Mr. Make It Happen come from?
I estimated and thought about what suits me and how do I feel in this world. And that's kind of how I believe I show up. When you hand me something, everything will fail, but I won't. Whatever it is I decide I want, I often make happen. It has never failed me. Now, the timing has not always been what I would want it to be. Don't get me wrong. But anything I believe that a man sets himself to, the task will come to it. As will everything he's ever wanted from it. The hardest part about that is realizing that when the bad things come, sometimes you also made them happen. Everything in my life I take personal. Hence the name Mr. Make It Happen. The good and the bad. Something I did set them in motion. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Yes, that's the honest truth for me.
Okay. Okay, closing words.
Okay, I have a question. Explain your name then.
So, Lady of Love is who I am. I am genuinely a lady with a loving heart. I give love. I am open to have a heart of love. I do. I do. And so that's where it came from.
Right.
Yes, and
I
it's
like
been
that. I
that's
like
been the name since I was in my 30s. Lady of Love is a name that I have had since I was in my 30s. Hey, Gen C. Yep. So that is where it came from. I did the lady IE instead of Y. Um, and so yeah, I am Lady of Love because I believe in love. I do believe in love. I believe in giving love. I believe in sharing love. I believe that love makes the world a better place. I do believe in the law of love.
good deal.
And in the words of Miss Exterminator, and according to the Bible says love covers all things. And I believe that love does cover all things.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are 50% there.
Huh? I'm 50% there. I got another 50%. I don't know. I called my cousin today and I'm like, man, I, these men stories, I don't know. What are we going to do? What we going to do with you men? I don't know. I'm
Well, I
trying.
think your 12 laws are a beginning. We got to start there. Too many people are living inauthentic right now. Too many characters in this world in general.
Yep.
Too many people not getting clarity on who they are and not having enough patience to put forth the effort to get what they truly want. At 50 years old, I can honestly say most of my life was a rush. Now that I'm from raising kids to achieving my own professional goals, everything seemed like a rush until all of a sudden it wasn't. And with that, I was left to sit with myself and look at my life and decide what matters and what doesn't. There's something about the young. Everything is a rush. And I can literally attest to that. I went through 3 different careers by the time I had reached 35, military included, but everything was a rush. There's something about this age that slows everything down. You reflect on what happened in the past, but you also start to focus on what matters. Hence the reason I got to the point of love being the big deciding factor in everything. Because through it all, it was either a love for what was going on, love for the game. Every last bit of it was based off love. And that's why I moved the way I move now. I make no motions until I am truly, truly understanding, do I have a love for this now? Looks a lot like your laws. There's patience, there's clarity. And sometimes truths that I don't want to hear that I have to express to myself. Like, yeah, you kind of do want this no matter how you act. Because as a Leo, I've been told I can be standoffish and often get caught up in the wrong things. But once you decide that love is enough, that's the only place you move. And I don't know why it took for 50 before I got there.
Yeah. You know, life can be life can be interesting and a little tricky too. And we don't know why we move, but it's the law of patience. And we have to know that it's at work, whether we recognize it or not. And the more that we know, uh, then we know, okay, this is what's going on here. I understand what's at work here. And so if I understand that this is what's at work, I'm just gonna let it be.
A lot of times we have to remind ourselves, I'm telling you, especially now. I mean, professionally, I go through that one. Some days you just want to give it all up. And then you have to remember the love that I have for what I do. Some days you literally want to do nothing but cuss everybody out, walk away from it all.
Yes. And I get it. And by the way, I am excited. I told you I got a call today. I'm excited about that. Things are moving, so nope.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Keep
you.
in mind I have a story I want to put to pen. I want you to read it once I get done.
Okay. Okay. I cannot wait. And speaking of stories, so the book of Dating Fiascos Volume 2 will be out the end of this month. Um, the premise of the book or the goal is taking off your mask, not just in dating, but in life. We have to take off our mask. It's time to be authentic and show up so that we can attract the people who are supposed to be in our lives to get us to our final destination and our life goal. So that will be out here soon. Just want to put that out there. And I think that's it.
Great read, guys. You got to get it. It surprises you how they see us. You're like, what?
That is
It
not
may even
true.
lead to some. It may actually lead to some self-reflection. I promise y'all. I read the first one.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Yeah. A lot of lessons learned, great stories. They're short stories, so it's not a long novel where you have to sit down. You can read a story in 5 minutes and move on, and you'll laugh a little bit. You'll your jaw drop because there are some characters. There are some characters out here dating and some characters in this world. So yeah.
Yes, they're short stories. Even Mayweather could read them. So go out there and get
Oh gosh. But thank you, Julian. Thank you guys for jumping on. Thanks, Andrea. Thanks, Terrence. You guys have a wonderful night. It has been a pleasure.
it. All right. You have a good night.
Good night.